Can technology be used to energize the storytelling process? To make a personalized and true-to-life dramatic experience? How do you create the illusion of free will with a fixed ending? How do you create a compelling storyline when the audience controls the narrative?
Cruiser is changing course. Now on intercept trajectory.
Can't be. Stealth systems are engaged. There's no way a Geth ship could possibly...
It's not the Geth. Brace for evasive maneuvers! Well, Mass Effect 2 is a dark science fiction story about Commander Shepard, who is facing the greatest threat to our galaxy.
Just as humanity is entering into sort of the galactic stage of all these species, they hit into a moment of crisis, not just for humans, but for everyone.
We're at war. No one wants to admit it, but humanity is under attack.
You have to assemble the most elite team in the galaxy. You have to then go do the impossible mission, the suicide mission at the end, and ultimately everything you do is about preparing for that mission.
It's got an adult quality, and not so much, with the nature of the violence or with sexuality, but just with this kind of darker treatment of a sense of conflict.
We talk about sort of humanity and what does it mean to be human or even to be alive.
What it reminds me of sometimes are Isaac Asimov, some of the more high-minded science fiction that I used to read.
It's always that what could be, what could we be? And I think people gravitate towards that.
Science fiction, at its best, reflects the hopes and fears of modern society.
Exploring some element of the human experience that maybe you can't approach with a real-life narrative.
If there's some sort of element of truth to it, or I can see happening, then it terrifies me.
I thought things would change after the attack on the Citadel. The old council was dead. Humanity took control of the new one. Nothing changed. Politics, bureaucracy, same bullshit, different leaders.
You get a lot of social commentary, you get a lot of exploration of the ideas of what humans are capable of and what we're unfortunately tend to do.
Just because we're different doesn't mean we can't find a common goal or a commonality. And science fiction does that better than anything.
What are you looking at?
Men who damn about to do.
Video games can be powerful and emotional and resonate with people the same way that movies or television do.
Movies just talk at you. Books, it's still a one-way street. So anything like gaming that is a mutual interaction, the deeper that can go and the more consequence that interaction can have, the more it's fulfilling its promise.
I think it's wonderful that as video games become more cinematic, that the designers and the developers are investing the same kind of artistic study into making these things as emotionally powerful as they can.
We want players to feel something real, genuine, incredible when they play our games.
You don't just play a character, you become a character, you build the character.
It's your story, and you get to live out the fantasy of seeing what would happen if you were actually, in this case, out in space in control of your own ship.
A role-playing game, well, it's based on probably the most famous of all role-playing games out there, which is Dungeons & Dragons. And the idea is you really are playing a role. You create a character, and through the adventures that you go on, you're able to allow that character to grow.
RPGs will begin with this long prologue that is, for 400 years the forces of good fought the demons of evil, and then they sealed away the demons of evil, and then the demons got out somehow, and it's just like, enough, I want to play the game. It's too much. Shooters are the complete opposite. Shooters, you'll have just enough stories so you can start shooting people. So Mass Effect strikes the happy balance.
It's as much a shooter as it is an RPG, so we're combining a lot of features of rich role-playing, exploration, progression, customization, story, narrative, dialogue, characters, with the intensity of an amazing shooter experience.
Mass Effect is really pulled off being able to go deep into the story and having such backgrounds for these characters that you know why you're shooting who you're shooting.
This should be fun.
You sold me out.